I'm going to try to help you get through this second assignment here in week 2. Um, it's not difficult, but it is very dependent on your understanding, not just the elements and principles, but also understanding style and subject. Okay, now last week we talked a bit about the difference. Subject, of course, being the content, what's actually in that picture. And it's so easy when we're asked to look at a piece and tell us, discuss it, to start describing what's going on. You know, the boy's coming down the stairs, it looks very sad, blah, 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 blah. That's not what we're talking about when we talk about style. Style is that old bugaboo again about elements and principles. So, style, let's look at some of this and see if we can clarify it a bit. And what I did, you may see, is go over here to these readings that are set up to help you. And the first one, of course, is telling you what style is. It gives you an idea of how these shapes, for an example, in this piece differ. You would talk about the very, I guess, contemporary geometric lines there. You would talk about, now here, my friends, is a good example of organic. It looks like these pieces of clay almost have just been, I don't know if it is clay or not, have just been absolutely thrown on here, doesn't it? And then gravity or natural, or nature rather, is making the form. So that would be very organic, okay? And then these very, I guess, formal. You've got some curvilinear forms, lots of curvilinear forms there. So, you know, that's the style. We're talking about form or shape here. Form because it's 3D. Okay, so that's the style, talking about the elements and the principles. Now, there are lots of different things sometimes that go on in the style. And one of the things that happens when you look at style is you see a clear reflection of the culture. Now, we're not asking you so much to do that, but if as you look at the style, and I hope you're looking hard, you may start to scratch your head, never hurts a little bit to look at that. Now, we'll get into some real research later, but right now, style. How are the elements and principles? And I got to tell you, I would go right to shape on this, you know. I would go right to the shapes and how distorted and abstracted they are over there. I would talk about the colors. You have, if you look at your color circle on, or the color wheel that I think is in that E&P PDF that's in announcements, you'll see that the complementary colors are all here. You've got blue and orange, and you've got violet and yellow, so you've got great complementary pairs. Complementary, remember, is a very specific, like all of these terms become very specific. Now, a compliment, we know, is when somebody says something nice to you, all right? Well, but when we talk about elements and principles, a compliment has a very specific meaning. It means that color wheel relationship, all right? And I know this is a new language, but that's why we're doing it. We're getting better. Anyway, go through the style, and it tells you a little bit here. It'll talk about some styles. Here's some naturalistic, or naturalism is a style. And they'll tell you over here, these are some more examples, they'll tell you right up here, realism is a term you need to be a little bit careful in how you use them. When you want to say realistic, choose naturalistic or illusionistic, okay? That's because there's a whole period in art that is called realism, or the realist style. Okay, we don't want to confuse that. And here's one right here. Here's Thomas Eakins. The Coral Necklace was very realistic, isn't it? And because it is a realist painting, then that's the kind of thing that we would call a realism piece. And certainly, again, you talk about the forms being natural. All right. So anyway, style is about that. And in addition to that first section on style, there's a second section on style, and it will talk to you some more. Here's illusionism and idealism. Now, if it's helpful, write these different styles down so that when you start discussing, you'll have a good feeling about what style you're kind of pigeonholing, or you might think it goes in. I'm not gonna hold you accountable very much for absolute style definition. I do account you for having a reason for putting a piece in there. And if you go with what you know about elements and principles, then probably you're going to hit the style just right, as long as you're aware of the style. So do go over these terms. Now, back to what we were talking about over here earlier, and that is your assignment. You're asked in this to do style comparison, and this is very specific. All right, style comparison here. And what they want you to do in style comparison, read it carefully, 300 words, my friends, and they want you to describe the pieces or the styles with elements and principles. They should be those terms that you know by now, or at least you have listed somewhere. And you want to choose, in this particular case, they're asking you to choose 2 works in different styles, okay? Maybe one's cubism and one's, just make them look different if you don't know exactly what style they are. You can look that up as you go along, or you can come to that conclusion. 2 different styles. So you're going to have to analyze, and you're going to have to use your understanding of styles. So I suggest you make that list, okay? You make that list, choose 2 different styles. Make sure that the artworks are the same kind, for example. Make sure that the artworks are both paintings or both sculptures or both, I don't know, cartoons, whatever you choose. However, they do suggest you go to Webliography. Now, sometimes you get confused. Webliography, my friends, is right here. Click, right? And that will bring up this page with lots of different places to go. This is to keep you on track in the sense of helping you find things that are easy to pinpoint a style to. Now, if you go out and find, Aunt Mabel's painting and you love it, and it may be fine and it may be in a museum, but when you start putting a style to it, might be a little bit of a challenge. So because this is kind of like learning to crawl before you walk, keep this easy for yourself, okay? And I guess that pretty much, in my mind at least, explains it. I hope this all helps some, and I'll look forward to seeing your work on the discussion assignments. Okay? Thanks very much.